Okay, hey everybody. This is Did You Know History podcast. I'm Ren.
And I'm Harper.
Harper's back. So last time we did a topic. We're doing our videos a little now with podcasts, and last time we did what if. We actually might go back to that topic in the future and make it a little bit more organized. Last time's a little bit rough, but this time we're just going to talk about assassins. And actually, I made a video a few weeks ago about U.S. presidents that were assassinated. So
Hmm.
if you're interested, you can take a look at that. But we're gonna concentrate on just some assassinations and how they are intriguing. I know it's not the right word to use, but like intriguing to learn about, and then some of the things that happen after each assassination and the people involved, and some you might know, and some you might not even know. We might have some that are kind of rarer. So yeah.
Yeah, it's always a big moment in history, actually. Because like I remember growing up when my dad would be like, "I remember the exact like spot I was at when this happened,"
Right,
because
right.
it like changes. Obviously, the world's a huge place, but not every nation has
Yes.
these. But some are
and i
little
and i
odd.
I would say that I personally, as an American, I have not experienced a national assassination.
Mhm.
Yeah, like not even of a major figure in America. Yeah. So like it's a very obviously a
Yeah.
very rare occurrence. So so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do four different like assassination topics, I guess. So the first one we're gonna do is Chris is gonna bring it up and talk about it. So the first one we're gonna mention about our U.S. presidents and go into a
Mm.
little detail about it. So yeah, who are the two you're gonna mention?
Actually, so it's your favorite president, Lincoln,
Yep.
and then the most recent one that we've had assassinated, JFK. There's a lot of weird, not conspiracy things with it, but it's more of just like
Mm.
weird, odd connections or just weird coincidences. Like for instance, both of the presidents were elected to, I think it was the presidency. No, not presidency. Both of them were elected to Congress or
Congress.
something in like 46, and they were both elected to presidency in 1860 and 1960,
Yeah.
respectively. Um,
Right.
there's like a weird list of them. Some are real, some are like fake, but like it's weird how that happened literally like 100 years later. They both had to do with civil rights. They were both killed on a Friday, both shot in the head.
Mm.
Um, yeah, like they
Killed
both
by
were
different
killed.
guns, but yeah.
Yeah, but they were
Right,
both
right,
killed
right.
by the people who did it worked in the places that they killed them at, Ford's Theater and the Book Depository.
Mm.
JFK was killed in a Lincoln. Lincoln was killed in a Kennedy. That one's not true.
Like Lincoln was
That one's
killed by
not true.
Kennedy.
But it's like it's weird.
Yeah.
Like they were both succeeded by Southerners named Johnson, who were both born in like 1808 and 1908. Like it's just weird how that all works. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I've heard of those I've heard it from friends about those it's not a conspiracy, but just like the crazy coincidences of the two
Yeah.
that were assassinated. And yeah, it's pretty trippy because both, yeah, Johnsons, and then they're both born in the
Yeah. And
1808 and 1908. Well, yeah.
I'm not exactly sure on this one, but I mean, I know that John Wilkes Booth or Lee Harvey Oswald for JFK was killed going into trial, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I know he was in
Um,
custody and a dude ran up and shot him.
I mean, I think so. I'm not sure if it was going to be immediately brought into trial like the day
Yeah.
after. Maybe he
Like, I
was.
know, like, it was in public, like, he was being moved and they ran up
Have
and got him. Have a what now?
have you seen the video of him getting shot?
I think it was Jack Ruby, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but you've seen the live
Hey!
video.
Yeah, and
That's
it's like
it's
that dude
not.
just gets, like, tackled, but then at the same time, like, I
Yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah.
know if Wilkes Booth
Have you
was the
seen the
same or
video for
not.
John Wilkes Booth? No.
No, they colorized it and put it in 4K.
Yeah. No.
No, I haven't seen that video.
Yeah, yeah.
I have seen like the
Um,
Civil War people. It's like the sons of the Civil War talking or something, or like the oldest Civil War guys, like black and white. Like that's YouTube's amazing, by the
right,
way.
right,
If you
right,
haven't,
right, right. Yeah.
so but yeah, just weird coincidences between those two presidents.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting what you say. You touched on they were both for civil rights, and
Yeah,
definitely with Lincoln.
yeah,
Yeah, like he's probably the biggest proponent president in regards to civil rights and trying to free the slaves and actually try to give rights to now freed African Americans.
mm,
And with what's it called? With Kennedy, it was like fully make it equal
yeah.
for African Americans and other minorities, and that's kind of a crazy parallel. And I think if you ask like past presidents, they're always like, "Oh, I always want the Kennedy bust or something." Like he's in or no, not the bust, the painting where he's
The
like
yeah, yeah.
looking down, and it's like, what would Kennedy do? And then of course everyone probably all the presidents probably look at Lincoln Memorial, or there's probably a bust of his, a painting.
Oh, they've got that the Lincoln Memorial, like the big statue.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like
yeah.
I think it's in the movie Team America. It's like, what
I'm
would
sure it's
you
in many
do?
movies besides Team America, but
That's where my mind goes, man.
yeah, but yeah, and it's like crazy the parallels that to do with civil rights,
Well,
and
obviously,
yeah,
back in those days when there are strong feelings about those issues, like people will just take matters into their own hands. I guess. I mean, that's
yes.
JFK and
But
Lincoln were both doing it. So,
now I'm not trying to be a conspiracy. I don't think that uh, Lee Harvey Oswald is the only killer. Just gonna throw that out there. Anyway,
ooh, I've been there.
yeah, yeah, I
I've been
know.
to
Yeah,
that spot.
I don't think he's the only shooter. Anyway, so but I will say uh, it is a bit different. Their motivations for killing. I don't
Mm.
think Harvey Oswald's was. Oh, he's trying to give black people rights,
No, there's
right? I
weird
don't.
stuff about him where it's like
Yeah, there's too
he was
many extra conspiracies for Kennedy,
yeah,
but definitely, um, John Wilkes Booth was just like he loved the South, and
yeah,
whoever's a
and
viewer of the South, we're not talking about that right now. We're not trying to bring
hey,
politics. I'm just saying
I
that he
I
loved.
was born in Missouri. I think that was a southern state at one point,
He,
but then I
he,
moved to
be-
Kansas.
he believed
And
in what was the Confederacy was doing, so that's
yeah,
why he took his actions out on Lincoln. And
it was a
but
different
what I
time
was trying
too.
to say was the motivations were different, definitely different.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's a crazy parallel,
Yeah,
honestly.
there's a lot of conspiracy with Harvey Oswald, like you were saying. John Wilkes Booth, it was it's straight up.
Yeah, straight up it was
Yeah,
him. Um,
yeah.
maybe I'll link it at the bottom of the
Lincoln.
on the LinkedIn. No, uh,
Ah,
I'll put it in the description at the bottom. There's actually I'm not even kidding. Have you ever heard of that show where it's like an old '50s show, and it's like it's kind of like, do you know who this is? And they basically ask them 20 questions like about, oh, are you an actress, actor?
oh yeah, yeah. No, 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 no.
I forgot what
I
it's
think it's the one
called.
I've
Like,
seen. It's like a black and
okay,
white TV show, and it's like the dude is like, "No, I was alive when Lincoln was like shot in Ford's Theater,"
yeah,
and it's like,
yeah, yeah.
"What?"
So like they made the contestants. They were like,
Yeah,
please don't. Oh, they never even announced it who he was.
no, like the
Yeah, he
dude
just
was the one
surprised
who,
everybody.
yes,
Yeah, yeah. And he was
yeah,
like 90 something in the video, and he was just like, I saw President Lincoln.
yeah.
Not he didn't see Lincoln get killed. He said,
No, but
I
he was
saw
like
John
there.
Wilkes Booth jump down
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
stage. What the heck?
Now, in
So
like 80 years, I could say that too. Be like, I remember when I was in this place and this happened. I'm like, he wasn't there.
yeah, right. What's an
But yeah,
event that we would say that's like, yeah, that's just nuts.
ah,
Nothing.
there's well,
Anyway, yeah, it's
not
like some serious
yeah.
events that, yeah, for us. Anyway, off topic. So,
That's
um, yeah, but yeah, so that's for that topic. So now we're gonna move on to another group of assassins. So these two people are not from the same country, but I think they're very much paired together because of their shared ideology in a way. So it's Abraham Lincoln. Oh, what am I saying? It's uh Martin Luther King Jr. and Gandhi. Okay,
Oh, oh,
so
okay.
these two individuals, I'm pairing them together because they share the idea of nonviolence. Now,
Hmm.
their sorry, their goals were completely different because one was trying to get full rights, full citizenship,
Yeah.
full I guess you could say full citizenship rights and whatnot. But the other one was trying to have India become a free country. And yeah, it's very interesting about these two people because they both believe in nonviolence, and the people that decided to take, uh, to assassinate them, again, assassinated them for different reasons. And but these two assassinations, they have massive ramifications for what happened afterwards. I would say that with Martin Luther King, ironically, because he was killed, um, the U.S. immediately pretty much passed all civil rights, like major civil right laws. I think it's 1969. So they passed the laws, and then they basically realized it's needed, right?
Like
Especially
they're
for what
yeah.
happened to them. And with Gandhi, I believe he was assassinated because there was a thing called the you probably don't know this, but like called the partition where India broke up into like Pakistan, I think Bangladesh, or is later called Bangladesh, and basically people are migrating like to the different areas. One area is more Muslim, one area is more Hindu, and they were migrating across like hundreds of miles, and people basically started killing each other and fighting each other during this what's it called migration. And basically, the person that killed Gandhi, he said he was upset by what happened, and he thought that Gandhi could stop it all. So yeah, the reasons for the assassinations are very different, but so yeah,
It's neat to know. Obviously, there's people who want to change the world for the better, and they're not doing it as like you said, peaceful. They're not going out there and saying like we do this, we do this. It was more of like, hey, let's bring change by changing people's thoughts and minds, and
yeah,
ultimately,
and
I mean, it did, but ultimately, the people who decided to take matters into their own hands were very against that,
yes, and
for lack of
then
better
I
words.
will say I don't. I'm only pairing them two because of the idea of nonviolence. I don't know as well what happened after with India. I don't think I don't believe India became like crazy after that happened. I just I'm assuming like things were okay again because they were already established country at that point. But yeah, he was killed for that. A lot of people don't know probably is that um King, he actually really looked up to Gandhi's nonviolent, I guess you could say, method of protesting. And basically, the idea is to not do anything, right? You want the people committing the
Hmm.
oppression, or the people in the news, the regular populace, to see that like, oh crap, this is like really
This is
intense.
yeah, this is real.
Yeah, this is like bad. Like why are you hurting these people when they're not even doing anything, right? Um I would speak more from what I know about with Martin Luther King, but like have you seen the footage from like the South in like the 60s and 50s, how they're just like never
I probably did
really,
somewhere like in like high school, but like I haven't like really
really.
looked into it. Yeah.
Have
Like
you
I know
seen the
that
ones with
they
like dogs biting people?
yes, like I've seen
Okay.
it's in there like German shepherds.
Okay, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know the dogs.
Yeah, no, they're I'm almost positive. Well,
Mm.
you're more of a history guy than I am, but I know they used like
The dog.
uh well, I mean,
Yeah.
that was during like the Vietnam era too, where it was like
Yeah. Right,
any
right,
like
right.
hippie protesters on university, it was like they were just basically going in and being like, "No, get out, take your
Yeah.
bongo drums
Have
with
you
you."
have you seen have you seen the one with like they're spraying like high powered
Yeah, like the fire
hoses
hose.
from like fire
Yeah,
hydrant? It's like it's
yeah,
rough. Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, oddly enough, this didn't this happen like 10, 15 years ago, where like the university, the students were all linked arms, and the dude was like hose them down with like pepper spray. So like
Oh,
there's
that was more
still
recent than that.
Yeah, well, I've been out of the country for
Oh,
what
yeah,
feels
but yeah,
like
yeah, right,
a
right.
lifetime. But
Same
yeah, like
idea.
exactly, it's a peaceful protest, just like he
Yeah.
was doing back in the '60s, and people are like,
Right, right.
and
And
then
and yes, yes, I would say that there was an outrage towards that officer.
oh
'Cause
yeah,
he
oh
just like
yeah,
walked by like
it was like bear mace
right, right, right. Yeah, it's the same kind of now, I will
mentality.
say this as an if people are watching and might comment, I'm just going to say that I do believe I personally believe in protesting against oppression. I'm totally all
Hmm.
for it. But for me, when it comes to the protesting, when it becomes violent in some way, or it becomes um where you're alienating people to the point where they're getting upset at you because you're losing your point.
Yeah,
Um,
that makes
I,
sense.
yeah, I've seen some like so yeah, especially if you protest violently, it's like you're not gonna
You're not
make
helping the
people.
cause.
Yeah, you're like yeah. Anyway, don't want to delve too far into that political discussion, but yeah. And when it comes to Gandhi, the only thing that I know about the protesting then was basically from the Gandhi movie. Have you seen that?
No,
Okay,
I
so
have
the
not.
Gandhi movie is basically, yeah, it just shows like different happening and different massacres happening, and it's like these things happened in India, and then it really changed the minds of like the British authorities, and they were like, oh yeah, maybe we should stop doing this and stop treating them so bad, and then you get the mindsets of Indians that are like they slowly uh, believe in nonviolence.
Mhm.
Um, so you do see those parallels. One random aside: did you know Ben Kingsley? He
That
played
I was gonna
Gandhi.
say, is that the Gandhi movie with Ben Kingsley?
Now, did you know this? As my channel is called, Ian.
What? Is he really?
Yes, he is.
I
You can
when you
Google that.
okay, when you said the Gandhi movie, that's why I was like looking over here for a little bit. I was like, is that the one with the dude from Iron Man 3? And then I was like,
Great film,
is
by
it
the way.
no, and then I was like,
A
Ben
great character.
I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Ben something, and you said Kingsley. I was like, that's it. Now, fun fact about that we're tying this into. I have
Yeah.
not seen the Gandhi movie, but I do know about the history, I guess, if you will, of what you're talking about with the whole like British separation, where they're saying, like, no, you got to get over here, you got to move here
Okay.
because of the MCU. A horrible, horrible MCU adaptation called Miss Marvel, where she travels back in time to
Oh,
that point.
right.
And I
Right.
was like, the second you started talking about
Right.
this, I was like,
Right.
wait, I have seen this. I know about this. I don't really know about this. I just know about it from the MCU. So I know about it, but not enough to
Thank you,
know about it,
Disney,
if you know.
for that great.
Yes, Disney Plus. We're not sponsored.
Oh, definitely not.
But yeah, no.
Helping us anyway. But
Yeah.
oh yeah, you're right. That I totally
Yeah.
forgot about that
And it,
great episode of
yeah.
yeah, Miss
But
Marvel.
it obviously it's Disneyfied and it's not like they can't really show you what's going on, but it does give
Right,
you
right.
a little bit of like what was happening to families at that time. So
Yes,
it
yes.
does
And
uh,
it's true, like people
yeah,
families are separated and all that. So that's
yeah,
why
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
why the guy took his aggression out onto
Gandhi.
onto Gandhi. Yeah. So um but yeah, what was I gonna say next?
We went
Yeah,
from
the thing I mentioned about
okay.
Ben Kingsley was there was this thing where people are like, "Oh, you're having a white guy play
Yep.
Gandhi," and
Yeah.
to a certain degree, I'm like, "Yeah, that's pretty rough." Like, have you seen John Wayne as Khan?
No.
And he literally is like slapped. Oh, it's
Okay.
bad. It's bad. Okay. Oh, have you seen Mickey Rooney?
No.
You gotta look it up. Type in
I
like
mean,
just type in on YouTube later Mickey Rooney and Chinese.
we can go
He
back
plays
to
a
the
Chinese or
MCU
Japanese guy. Yeah.
and say what was it? Tilda Swinton played the ancient one, which in the comics is like this super. I want to say he's
Asian
from like
man
this.
or something? I
Yeah,
don't
he's
even
like
know.
a
Asian.
Tibetan monk or something, and it's like you got Tilda Swinton. It's like I get it, or Ghost in
So
the Shell. It was Scarlett Johansson.
the thing with Ben Kingsley was like, oh, he's white, right? I was like, yeah, it makes sense. And then I like
Mhm.
a year ago, and I'm like, he's half Indian. I was like, well, okay, that's why he was picked.
Yeah,
Um, Google his
Butts and
name
C's.
right now.
Just to make sure. What if?
Oh,
What if? What if he was not?
okay. No, I'm very sure. So his mom is named Anna Lina Mary Goodman. His father is Rahim Tarji Banji. If that is an Indian, I don't. Yeah, that's got to be something. Like, yeah, that's quite a name.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
God, he's from
oh,
Kenya. Oh, he's a
wait.
Kenyan Indian. That's okay. Kenyan Indian, British Empire. Anyway, they all moved around, so that's what it was. A
And he
Kenyan
played the
Indian.
role of Gandhi during that time of the separation.
Who, Ben
Like
Kingsley?
from yeah, he played the role of
No, the
Gandhi.
movie was made in the 80s.
Yeah, not back in that time, but like he played the role of Gandhi, who was taking place in that time of India, of like the
Yes.
separation from like full
Oh no,
circle.
it's his whole life.
Oh,
He acts
okay.
his whole life. It's a good film. I liked it. Time ago.
Hmm.
Anyway, we are massively off topic. So
Yeah.
okay, my
Well, not
bad.
real. We're still on Gandhi. We just
Yeah, but Ben Kingsley, they called him Indian. Anyway, okay. So next we're going to. I actually kind of messed with the order. My bad. So we're gonna go two assassinations um, within a country again, but it's Japan. And
hmm,
people who are watching, I don't know. Harper, he lives in Japan.
over
How
here.
many years now? 25 years?
Oh man, I it's like each day is a year here.
Oh,
Um,
realistically, you've been there like 9 years now.
yeah, I
2014.
think yeah,
Damn.
2014. So it's I'm coming up on 10 years here.
Whoa.
2025 is 10th year.
So
So
I want to talk about two people that were assassinated in Japan, and of course, some hundreds that were assassinated throughout its history. But one that Harper, Chris, that
yeah.
could speak more about
Oh
would be
yeah.
the assassination of Shinzo Abe, and that
Yeah.
happened last year.
Yeah. I
Last
don't know
year,
the exact
yeah,
date, but it's probably I know it was this past year.
yeah.
Um yeah, that was as I said like in the beginning, like I remember asking my dad certain things about like the JFK and he's like I remember
Mm.
exactly where I was. I know
Mm.
exactly where I was at. I was actually in a small town, if you will, called Shukugawa, which is over near Kobe, at work and the office admin ran in and she was like, "Oh my gosh, like he was shot." And of
Wow.
course, just like the news for 9/11, for me, it was like, ah, okay, I'm thinking he got shot. I didn't think it was like an assassination shot. And I was like, ah, okay, I hope he's okay. And they were like, yeah, me too. And then it wasn't until when I got home that night that I actually like saw the news and read in on it. And it it was a big thing here. It was weird
Yeah.
because there were like people in Japan who were like super in love with this guy.
Yeah.
And every like he fun fact, Shinzo Abe. Do you know what Shinzo? It's not his name, but Shinzo, the other kanji of it means in Japanese.
I do not know.
It is the medical term for heart. And
Mm.
Shinzo Abe was kind of like the president of Japan, if you will. He's like the heart of Japan.
Right. Right. Right.
So when this happened, it was one of those weird things that everyone was like shocked because he was like the face of Japan. He was Mr. Good Guy. And then it was revealed that like like the guy who assassinated him had like ties to this weird thing. Like his mom was donating money to this church, which
Yeah.
is like
Some
a
religious
weird,
church that
yeah, but it's like
Abe
not a,
supported.
yeah, it's like not a church. It's like kind of like a cult or I honestly don't know much about it other than that. And it was like Shinzo Abe was part of that and then like his whole like cabinet was like funneling money and like the guy was just like you stole the money from my mom. I'm taking matters in my own hands.
Wait,
Move
that's
forward.
true.
Uh
Supposedly.
yes,
Whoa.
allegedly, I guess I should say. Um because I know the guy was saying that it was like they were taking money from his mom, and I'm almost positive that's what it was from what I've read and what I've seen. I haven't
I
looked into it
I
at
heard
all
it
since it
was like
happened.
I heard the mom was donating to that organization.
Ah, yes, yeah,
Like, yeah,
yes,
like
she's like giving the money to them
right,
for
right,
this
right.
reason. And when that
But
happened,
then
everyone was like,
it was
"This
also
guy's."
like it was like his inheritance or something.
It was it was like
Something
his
like that.
inheritance, but it was also like her life money. Like it was all the money that she
Yeah.
had saved up and she just kept giving it. So when it happened, everyone was like, no, this guy's crazy. And then when they looked into it, it was like, oh, wait, no, he actually had ties to it. The cabinet had ties to it. And there was this weird thing where everybody almost overnight was like, oh, we love him to like, oh no, like don't talk about that. Like that's a bad thing. And it was a really weird shift in like a 180 reverse on people's like opinions about him.
I don't know about that deeply. I mean, I have friends who have um I mean, there are friends, but I'm trying to talk to the audience. But they have opposite points of view about it. So
Yeah,
one friend
yeah,
is like, "Oh, Abe, it's kind of believes what the things you're saying." And the
yeah,
other person is like, "No, it's a conspiracy. Like he was a great person." And I will say, in Japan, his policies are very much polarized in Asia because people thought he was trying to, or I wouldn't even say trying. He is to grow the Japanese military, which is something that isn't technically allowed in their constitution,
yeah. They
but
just have defense.
they changed it, right,
Yeah,
or something. Yeah, they changed it under him. So I get it. Like people are like, yeah, he's a warmonger, but like he's going to be a potential warmonger. He's growing the military, and so yeah, like it's so you were saying like, oh, he's the father of Japan, but it's like actually I would say a lot of people didn't
and
like him.
that's what's
Yeah.
weird. It's like overnight. It's like most people I know were like, "Oh yeah, we really like him, but we don't like this part of him." But then, like the
Mm,
second that happened overnight, it was like, "Oh, we really like what he did, but as a person, we don't really like." And it was like, "Whoa!" Like
right, right,
so.
right.
But yeah, that's one that happened to me that I can literally tell you like where I was, who I was
Mm.
talking to without saying any of the names
Yeah,
here.
I
But it
would
was
say for me it was kind of a shock because it's
yeah,
like I was in Asia from
like 12, 2011.
2012 to 2020 basically.
Yeah.
And Abe was like the guy the entire time, right?
He
Pretty
was
much. Like
Japan type. Yeah.
so like he was the guy out around the world the entire time, and he represented Japanese the country. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. But the other person, yeah, connecting with that, the other I mentioned with Japanese assassinations, also kind of a political thing. And again, kind of interestingly enough, the polarizing part
Mhm.
is it's a guy, I'd look at the name exactly. His name is the person that got assassinated was Jiro Uma. And I might put the image up. Basically, he's a very famous socialist in Japan, and he was, I mean, socialist, but he's not a communist. But he like went to China even and like supported what China was doing, and he's considered he's like supporter of communism and whatever. And he was assassinated by a person that basically was against these, I guess you would say, socialists. Like he was against it, and this young basically assassinates him with a samurai sword on live
Oh,
TV. Yeah,
yes.
it's a very
Oh man.
freaky video, and the image I believe won the Pulitzer Prize. But basically, the dude stabs him with a sword from the side, and you see the moment of impact, and the guy's
Yeah.
like, it's his face is like, and then he basically dies upon like being stabbed, and it's just
Yeah.
like it's so brutal, and then
That was like the
but yeah,
60s, wasn't it?
something
50s or
like that.
60s? Yeah.
And
The photo's
basically,
black and white.
yes, and I'm just
Yeah.
mentioning this because it's showing the polarization, where
Mhm.
I'm sure a lot of people in Japan who were like getting out of World War II, they were probably still clinging to that, like, you know, not clinging, but they were probably thinking like, okay, China and North Korea, they're becoming socialist, communist, whatever, and we're kind of thinking like our government should be like that too, just like Germany was a socialist, right? But the flip side is, so the person who assassinated that socialist, I don't have his name. I have to look it up right here. His name was Otoya Yamaguchi, and he was 17 at the time. And
Whoa.
ironically, yeah, he was a student. Ironically, this student, he's revered now by Japanese like far right ultra nationalists because they consider him like a grand figure for preserving Japan and like protecting Japan from
Oh yeah.
outside like Asanuma. So
I
um yeah, it's pretty crazy. So
say I think I may have mentioned it in one of the videos. Like when you're walking down the streets, every once in a while you'll see like the imperial flag being flown, and then it's like a semi truck
mm.
ish with like it's like fluorescent club lights, and they're like broadcasting stuff. And obviously, as a foreigner at the time, I had no idea what was going on. And I was like, oh,
those
whoa,
are
it's like a
always
club. Yeah, and
those are
it's
always the
people.
nationalists. Wow.
That's what I was gonna say. It's if you see the imperial flag on it, it's like they're basically saying like keep Japan, Japan, get rid of foreigners. And I'm like, cool, and like take a picture as they drive by.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
um,
I've actually never seen it with the imperialist flag.
oh no,
I've only heard the trucks.
you'll hear the trucks and you'll see them,
Mm,
and it sticks out like a sore thumb, not just because of the broadcast, but it's like you'll see like the little light stuck on the side where it's like
mm.
it looks like going back to Disney, it's like that scene from Cars where it's like the lowriders come up and it's like the glow effects on the cars.
Haven't seen
It's just
cars.
like, oh, you're not missing out. But
Yeah.
it's just like fluorescent lights on it, and it's like broadcasting like propaganda music and stuff. And
Mm,
it's
interesting.
yeah. I mean, they're not going to do anything because it's broad daylight, hopefully. But yeah, I'm always like, neat.
Right.
Snap a
From
picture.
those
Oh,
samurai swords.
oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's the versus with the Japanese people. Yeah, we're gonna go to our final assassinations, and it's gonna be Roman.
Mm.
Now, of course, Roman history it spans millennia, so it's probably like 1,000 different assassinations. But I'm gonna mention one that's interesting. Sorry, one that's very common, and
Mm.
you could mention the second one, right? Or you don't know it.
I don't really know the dude's name, but I knew what happened, which is
Okay,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah. So the two assassinations, the most common one, if I'm assuming the audience would know, would be the assassination of Julius Caesar, and of course the assassination is very famous and very well known in history. It's happened. Do you know when it happened? What's the famous date?
uh BC. I
No,
I don't know.
There's a phrase for his death.
Oh, no, I just know the phrase that it's like when you
Blah
translate it, what it
blah
means.
of March. Do you know the word? The first word?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Beware the Ides of March.
Ides of March. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So he got killed. I think that's the middle of March. Gosh, we sound so dumb.
I
Anyway,
d I'm not the history guy. You are.
I
You should know
know,
these
I
things.
know. Ides of March happened on March 15th. Okay, that's what I thought. Half the middle of March, and basically he was stabbed by like 20, 30, 40 different senators, and that wanted him dead because he was becoming too powerful and now this might be something that I might be wrong. I believe the term backstabbing came from that because all the
Oh,
people were basically his allies and they were like, "Yeah, we're going to be friends with you. We still want you to become this
yeah,
powerful and become an
nice to
emperor." And they yeah, they stabbed his back when he died. In the back.
um,
Yeah.
I
And then he
I
turns around, of course, they stab him
probably
again. Yeah. So,
probably.
I believe he got stabbed like 40 something times. And the crazy thing again why I think it's called backstabbing is because his one of his most important generals, yes, or his like advisor, I think his general is Marcus Brutus, and
Yes.
he basically kills him, conspirators with the conspirators, and it's like I don't know the Shakespeare play, but basically Caesar says something kind of like Brutus is being stabbed to death, and it's like it's quite like poetic and sad. But yeah, poor Caesar. Um,
But that's where the phrase, it's like "et tu, Brute," or
oh,
whatever.
that's it.
That's it, yeah.
Okay,
Where it's like, "And
et two,
you stabbed me in the back."
et
Yeah.
two, yeah, et two, yeah, right,
"Et
right.
tu, Brute," or
Well, you don't know
Brutus. It's not
history. You
Brutus.
know your Latin though. Damn.
I
Anyway,
dude, I know weird facts. That's what I
yeah.
know.
Um, but et tu, yeah, et tu brute, yeah,
Yeah.
And I would say that in Roman history there were assassinations prior Caesar, but of
Oh, I'm
course,
sure.
assassinating the first emperor, it was kind of it's crazy in Roman history. Little side fact: did you know Caesar is the kind of modern translation of like Kaiser,
Like Tsar, like
Czar, Kaiser,
CZAR. Yeah,
Czar?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
interesting. Huh?
Did you know also he was the first one to eat a salad?
Rome, the
That's where the that's where
was it
the
a
salad,
oh
the
Caesar salad?
backstabbing salad comes from.
I was gonna be like, is it called a romaine salad? Roma salad? Anyway,
Oh, the
yeah,
romaine
we're
lettuce
gonna
in
get
a
banned for these jokes.
yeah. No,
But
yeah. I'm sorry.
no, no, I joined in. I literally didn't think about Caesar. I was thinking so stupid. But yeah, it's like it's sad that he was yeah betrayed by his people. But of course, he was not great and whatnot. But yeah, I think there's a precedent for him being killed as the first like emperor leader, and he gets killed, and then there's that precedent afterwards in Roman history where emperors get killed all the time by their own people. But it's interesting is that right after him you have Augustus, who I believe is the longest, no, second longest living, I think, Roman emperor. So yeah, and the other person that we know very little about, but we thought was quite interesting. I have his name for you.
Yeah, no, I got it up here as well.
His name is Manius Aquilius.
Aquilius. Yeah. So the only thing that I know about this dude was that he was like a, I don't want to say a senator or something, but he was executed. I don't know if assassination is technically correct.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
but
Sorry.
he had molten gold poured down his throat. Now, I don't know of all the people we've talked about today. Obviously, assassinations are bad and death is always brutal. But having liquid molten gold poured down your throat while you're still alive, I think, yeah, it tops the cake there. That I can't imagine what that would feel like. Let alone the price of someone would be like, "Hey, let's kill this guy. Let's stab him." No, 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 no. Let's melt down our swords and pour it down. No, no, no. Let's use the most expensive metal
Oh,
that
sword.
we
Yeah.
have and melt it and then pour it down that guy's throat.
It two
I
two
can't.
things I have observations from hearing this. Number one, God, they were rich. They were
Yes.
just like, yeah, just burn some gold.
Yeah. Why not?
The other one was deserve it, huh? It's like, just
Yeah.
pour gold
May,
down his throat.
maybe
Yeah.
again. I don't really know much about this guy. I heard about this thing and I thought, wow. So maybe he did something really bad. But I'm kind of upset that it. I don't know if it should have been, but shouldn't that have been Midas?
Midas?
Yeah, King Midas, the gold guy, or is that like
Oh,
a
that,
where
yeah,
everything he
Midas
touches turns to
touch.
gold? Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
right.
Maybe that's where they got it
I
from. They're
meant
like, hey,
the
let's just
it is. I meant the brand Midas touch. Yeah, that's
you.
me.
You mean like the auto
Anyway,
parts?
yeah,
Yeah, we're not pouring gold in the auto parts company. We're
right.
pouring it right down the throats.
But
Oh
yeah, basically he was killed by, I don't know how to pronounce this, um, Mithridates of Pontus.
gosh, I don't know who that
Pontus
is.
is in Turkey, and of course Rome was already trying to expand during that time in that area, so makes sense why there was conflict, and then uh, it makes sense that Manius Aquilius, dies for that. He's a consul, so he was
Oh
a
yeah, okay.
general.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah. So
I didn't know.
he became a general. So yeah, that makes sense that happened to him. But yeah, if people, if you know any other interesting, I shouldn't say the word interesting, or some unbelievable situations in
Yeah.
history, you can put your comments below. I need to really just write a caption and put it below and have people look at it. But yeah, there's a lot of assassinations in history, and we're just trying to share a little bit and for some that might be interesting or have some parallels, and it's all connected, right? In some way with history.
Some
So
weird way. Yeah.
yeah, weird way. And so yeah, any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Um, I don't want to die by gold down the throat. I don't. I don't.
Right. I don't think anybody does. I
But
don't think
no,
anybody does.
it's obviously, again, like, assassinations are never like a good thing, and I'm sure there are different countries that have experienced stuff like this as well.
Hmm.
I obviously only know about the ones that happened mainly in our country, and then the one that I was here for. So there are, if there's any interesting ones out there, again, just pin them in the comments. We'll look into them and see what's up,
Yeah.
because it's some of the stories behind these things are really interesting.
Yep.
And why not learn about them?
Yep. And with our podcast, we're trying to make it shorter and try to. We're obviously going a little bit rapid pace about these topics, but we're trying to add in more events or people into these shorter podcasts, and we will revisit. Like I'm sure we'll revisit What If again,
Oh yeah.
and maybe even something with like countries and whatnot or
Hmm.
whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then we're still gonna try and release one once a week. If some holiday comes, maybe we'll not do that, but we'll try our best. And yeah, that's it pretty much. All right, see you guys. Bye bye. Thanks for
Peace.
watching.